Have you heard that the hockey game is not on TV tonight? Oh no. Oh no. Good morning to you. Good Friday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Penguins. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or baseball, I also offer up daily shots of Steelers and Pirates where you found this. It is going to be Penguins versus Capitals tonight in the District of Columbia, and it is going to be available for people to watch. However, my early sense is that the story of this game won't be the game itself, because this will mark the first of the NHL's all-streaming broadcasts. It'll be on ESPN Plus, it'll be on Hulu, and there's a fair amount of you who are listening to this right now going, "The what? You mean it's not going to be on my TV when I flick on the remote?" Everyone who's involved in this is expecting that reaction. Everyone who's involved in this will have no apology for showing the game the way that it's going to be shown. And the reason for that is there's a ton of data to support that a lot of things are moving over to streaming and away from conventional cable. A lot of things are moving toward smart TVs as opposed to, I guess you can now call them dumb TVs, the ones we had 3, 4, 5 years ago. Everything is hooked up to the internet in every way. This is how a lot of people are watching movies and TV shows, and I apologize in advance if I'm insulting people who already know all this stuff, but again, I can promise that a lot of people won't. And it's not going to be something that the team or the league or the network is going to appreciate in the moment. They're going to have quite the backlash over this. I happen to be all in favor of this. I mean 1,000,000,000% in favor of this. And allow me please to explain why, beyond the fact that I happen to have an ESPN Plus subscription and won't have any issue watching it whatsoever. And I know how to hook it up to my TV, and everything else is going to look no different to me than a regular old game. Professional sports has been imbalanced for years. This is especially true in Major League Baseball, the last sport that does not have a salary cap, with some markets making all of the money or most of the money and others making comparatively little. That is driven almost entirely by cable companies, by local cable companies. You know, the ones you profess to hate, the ones everyone professes to hate. Well, turns out we can't have it both ways. People like me can't complain about the imbalance in sports and at the same time say, leave the game on cable. And people like you and me and all of us can't say, we hate our cable bill and we hate the monopoly that they have on everything. And then when an alternative shows up, say, but that's too complicated. I don't want to learn that. That's not for me. This is a case, this approach of ESPN basically dragging the National Hockey League into the 21st century. And anybody who's seen how the NHL's been run knows that that's a whopper of a challenge. This portion of Daily Shot of Penguins is brought to you by the good people at the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank, where they're committed to providing food for all of our neighbors in need across Western Pennsylvania. They, in turn, need your help. Find out how $1 can be turned into 5 full meals for those in need. Visit pittsburghfoodbank.org. So the league signs this contract with ESPN, which everybody wanted. Remember, the league needs to get onto ESPN. Hockey's getting ignored. It's turning into a fifth and sixth sport in our country behind NASCAR, behind, what else have I heard? golf, MLS. Well, hockey and ESPN are hooked up again. And as a result, hockey magically has shown up on SportsCenter again. Hockey magically makes it onto SportsCenter's top 10 plays once in a while. And this is a lot of what everybody had been clamoring for. And at the same time, there's a fair number of complaints that, well, hang on a second. You got the NHL, so why is it never on TV? Well, ESPN got it because they know that the NHL, which does not ever get great national ratings, is really, really, really popular within the markets it's based. And they wanted to capitalize on that from a streaming standpoint. They wanted to bolster the ESPN Plus project. They wanted to be able to show it live. They wanted to be able to show full replays. They wanted to have access to all of the highlights. Why? Streaming. It's where the dollars are going. You know why it's where the dollars are going? Because it's where the people are going. And the NHL, in a tremendous rarity, has a chance to be really at the forefront of this. Would I like to see more games on conventional TV? Sure. I have my lazy time. You know, I'm plopped on the couch. I just want to flick on the remote and go through the channels and say, oh, cool, here's Rangers versus Islanders, and just let it run. But I also have my laptop in front of me. And I know that I can just slide through the carousel that they offer you and tap on the game that I want to watch when I want to watch it, and boom, there it is. Just like that. In this game tonight between the Penguins and Capitals, in addition to being able to watch the game however and whenever you want, they're going to offer additional star cams where there's a camera affixed, tiny one obviously, that no one would ever be able to feel in skating around the ice, to Sidney Crosby, to Alexander Ovechkin. This is the kind of thing that you're going to see users have the ability to watch the game through the star's eyes. Yeah, it's going to be bumpy, and yeah, it's going to be an awful way to follow the actual action if all you're interested in is the outcome of the game. But it's an option that would not exist on your television unless you had, 7 channels dedicated to a single game. It's something that's a little bit different. Not all of the ideas are going to work. The stupid vapor trail on the puck didn't work. This comes with real resonance. This isn't a gimmick. This isn't somebody trying something that isn't working. It is working. Movies, television shows, documentaries, news, all are available at your fingertips, and none of it's that hard. If you're into an age bracket where you think it might be a challenge, call somebody. You've got time. Face-off's not until 7 o'clock. Have them figure it out for you. Have them figure it out for you and have them hook you up. I'm not going to be one to go shilling for ESPN. I don't have any connection to them whatsoever. Our company's never had any connection to them. So I'm not going to say go buy the service or whatever, but I do feel comfortable sharing with you that it's a heck of a lot cheaper to go $4 a month on that than it is on your overall cable bill. This is where everything's heading. This game tonight just happens to be well ahead of the curve. When we come back, just one question. It's time for Just One Question. That's brought to you always on this program by Fubo TV. The monthly cost of cable is over $200. Fubo TV is $65 a month to watch all the same channels, including AT&T Sportsnet Pittsburgh. And right now, Fubo TV is offering our listeners of this show a 7-day free trial and 15% off your first month. Just go to FuboTV.com/DK. FuboTV.com/DK. And today's J1Q comes from Mendy, who asks, can you share your opinion on the Crosby versus Ovechkin debate? Yes, Mendy, I can do that. I don't believe that there needs to be one. How's that? That's not me taking a deliberately wishy-washy approach or punting on the question. I have felt that way since the two entered the league. I see them as so different that it's hard to compare them, as if they're playing totally different positions, as if one is a quarterback and the other is a linebacker, as if one is a slugging outfielder and the other one is a flame-throwing starting pitcher. They have almost nothing where you can stack them up head-to-head and say, this player is better than that guy because. I look at Sidney Crosby as the consummate, complete 200-foot forward. He was always going to be, by virtue of his style of play, someone who produced more assists than goals. He probably had it more in his nature and surroundings to win more championships than Ovechkin. He probably had more of the captain's gene to him, even though they are both captains and even though they have both won the Stanley Cup. Sid's obviously done a lot more winning. And at the same time, Ovechkin has always been the guy who was going to end up with the most goals. And I happen to believe and hope like crazy that he'll end up passing Wayne Gretzky and be this sport's all-time goal scorer, because he is the greatest goal scorer in the history of hockey. There's no one who saw Wayne, who saw Ovi, and who said, oh yeah, Wayne's the better goal scorer. So why not have Ovi be rewarded for scoring all those goals in an era where it's infinitely more challenging to do so? I am way in favor of that. Can't wait to see the day he gets that goal. But is that going to make him a better player than Sid? It's a heck of a title to hold. And Sid won't hold any of those titles. He won't challenge, no one will, Gretzky's points record, like ever. Because hockey will never again look the way it did in the 80s. Goaltending equipment surely will never look again the way it did in the 80s. So Sid's claim to fame, if Ovechkin's is going to be the goal title, Sid's is going to be that Mike Babcock term that was applied to him in Sochi, serial winner. He's going to be one of the greatest winners in the history of hockey. But he won't be the greatest. I mean, you have depending on how you weigh original six history and, being the best out of only six teams, you have players with the Montreal Canadiens in the 50s and 60s who won double digits in championships. So when it comes to ranking and these types of debates, who's the greatest of all time, I know a lot of that happens in the NBA, and it doesn't happen as much or anywhere near as much in the NHL. It's just so hard. It's just so hard because the players are different, the people are different, the positions are different, their surroundings are different. Sid was always going to have a better chance, for example, to win international championships than Ovechkin was, because the Canadian roster was always going to be better than the Russian roster. So I am going to try, as you can tell here, Mendy, to gracefully bow out of the Crosby-Ovechkin debate and instead offer an appreciation for how these two have gone at it for so long with such tremendous success, and include into that their head-to-head battles, especially from 8-9 years ago, you'll recall, they were out of their minds when they'd go at each other. Their teams, the playoff rounds, the fact that the Capitals couldn't win a championship until they finally found a way to get through Pittsburgh, and they did it in Pittsburgh on that Kuznetsov goal on Matt Murray. It's become a truly great rivalry, which is something that I would dump on for years, because I would say you can't have a rivalry if one team wins all the games. Then the Capitals started winning some of the games, and then the Capitals won a championship. All of that is to the inestimable credit of these two extraordinary individuals who I refuse to rank one above the other. I appreciate the question, though. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Penguins. Let's do another one on Monday.